of the components in the fish eggs. Activator X, which is vitamin K, vitamins A and D, zinc, iodine, special fats, all essential to healthy reproduction. My gift to my daughter when she was pregnant was that I had an order of caviar sent to her once a month. That was Mom's gift. So we are big promoters of what we call high vitamin cod liver oil and high vitamin butter oil. Dr. Price used these two in combination to get dramatic results. He brought people back from the brink of death with alternating drops of high vitamin cod liver oil and high vitamin butter oil on the tongue. Now, the high vitamin butter oil was something that he developed. He took butter from cows eating rapidly growing green grass. He centrifuged it at low speed, low temperature, extracted an oil where these vitamins were concentrated. He also had access to a high vitamin cod liver oil, and he found that the cod liver oil didn't work as well unless he added the butter oil to it. These were not available to us when we started the Weston A. Price Foundation, but fortunately David Wetzel of Green Pasture Products is now making a high vitamin cod liver oil, and he figured out how to make the butter oil. Most commercial brands of cod liver oil are not high vitamin, and they actually have synthetic vitamins added back in. How much cod liver oil should we take? It depends on the dose. We recommend for most people a maintenance dose of 10,000 units of A and 1,000 of D, which you get from 1 teaspoon of high vitamin cod liver oil or 2 teaspoons of regular cod liver oil. And please go to our website to see the recommended brands that we recommend. You double this for pregnancy and lactation. Illness, recovery from surgery, you can take a very high amount for a short period of time. And babies and children, it's half the recommended dose. So it's about a half a teaspoon of high vitamin cod liver oil. How do you take this awful stuff? Not on a spoon. You want to make someone hate cod liver oil, give it to them on a spoon. The easiest way is to mix it with a little water or fresh juice or a little milk. Just a little bit, stir around, down the hatch, bypass the taste buds. That's the way I do it. When my children were little, we had special shot glasses for cowboy whiskey. And when my boys came down to the kitchen for breakfast, they had to come up to the bar and have their cowboy whiskey. And it was fresh orange juice combined with their teaspoon of cod liver oil, and they had to drink it back like cowboys, all in one gulp. And you explain to them that this will make them healthy, that they'll be good athletes, whatever it is appeals to them, that they'll be good athletes, won't get sick. When they grow older, you can explain other benefits. And books on infant feeding before the 1950s recommended 2 teaspoons of cod liver oil for babies 3 months and older. This was in all the old baby books. That disappeared with Dr. Spock, who recommended vitamin D drops and vaccinations instead of cod liver oil. Now, cod liver oil is very unsaturated. It's a liquid oil. It works best with saturated fat. You want to take it in a diet where you have some butter from grass-fed cows, and in many circumstances, you'll want to take it with the high vitamin butter oil. High vitamin butter oil is expensive, but we are really seeing dramatic results with this combination. The brain is an organ of the body. It needs good nutrition, just like every other organ of the body. The key nutrients for the brain are vitamins A, D, and K. Choline, which is needed to make connections in the brain. If a baby is lacking in choline, at certain windows of development, those connections will not be made, and you can't go back later and make those connections. This is why we are so insistent that pregnant women eat liver several times a week, at least 2 egg yolks a day, and nursing women the same, and then the weaning foods for baby are egg yolks and liver. DHA is very important for neurological development, and zinc, which we get from red meat and fish. We hear a lot about nutrient-dense foods. USDA is always talking about nutrient-dense foods. Eat your vitamins and eat your fruits and vegetables. And I just have news for them. I'm not against fruits and vegetables. I think they're great foods, but they're not nutrient-dense foods. When you compare them to red meat and liver, we have apple, carrots, red meat, and liver. Look at the difference. Look at phosphorus. Phosphorus is the fuel in our cells. It's the fuel in the little motors inside our cells. Look how much higher red meat and liver are. Iron, zinc is the one where red meat is higher than liver. If you are someone who needs a lot of zinc, you need to eat red meat every day. Some people don't need a lot of zinc, but some people do. Copper, vitamin B2. There's no vitamin A in plant foods. A little bit in red meat. Look at the liver. There's more vitamin C in liver than there is in apples and carrots. B6 and B12. A huge difference even between the red meats. See how much higher. You can eat liver once a month and get the same amount of B6 and B12 as you can from eating red meat every meal. So those on a budget, you really want to favor these really nutrient-dense organ meats. Now, the way to make fruits and vegetables nutrient-dense is to put a good fat on them. So if you put butter on your vegetables or cook your vegetables in lard or something, then they'll be nutrient-dense foods. Cream on your fruit. Calcium, at least 1,500 milligrams per day in the primitive diet. U.S. government recommendations, not quite that much, but that's still a lot. How do we get this calcium? Well, you can drink 5 cups of whole milk or eat 7 to 8 ounces of cheese, and you'll get a good amount of calcium and not too many calories. If you want to get your calcium from carrots, you need to eat 40 carrots, and that's 1,680 calories. If you get your calcium from ice cream, a lot of people do get their calcium from ice cream. They crave ice cream, and that's how they get their animal fats and their calcium. But look how many calories. Or from chocolate cupcakes. Now, almonds are a great source of calcium. You only need 4.5 cups of almonds to get all that calcium, over 4,000 calories. If you want to get your calcium from bread, you have to eat 78 slices of whole wheat bread. And that's 4,300 calories. So this is what we mean by nutrient dense. You get a lot of nutrition at a low level of calories. This is why dairy foods are so important in the Western diet. We don't eat fish heads or fermented fish. Dairy foods are providing us with not only calcium, but lots of other nutrients at very low levels of calories. Okay, I think we'll do maybe 1 or 2 more. Can we go another 5 or 10 minutes? Okay. Next underlying characteristic has to do with cooking. Should we cook our food? We have the raw foodists out there telling us that human beings shouldn't cook their food. But actually cooking is one of the characteristics of human beings. All traditional cultures cooked. The Eskimos cooked at least some of their foods. Even in the tropics where they didn't have to build a fire for warmth, they cooked a lot of their food. They built a fire every day to cook their food. So a lot of the foods were cooked, especially the plant foods. Plant foods are much more nutritious when cooked. Grains have to be cooked. Well, as for the animal foods, they always had some of their animal foods raw. The animal foods were eaten both raw and cooked. Examples of raw animal foods include raw milk, butter, and cream, raw cheeses, raw and marinated fish, raw shellfish like raw oysters, and traditional ethnic raw meat dishes such as steak tartare, carpaccio, and kibbeh. Kibbeh is raw lamb from the Middle East. So it's interesting that every European culture has at least one raw meat dish that's eaten occasionally. And it's really fun to sit on a sidewalk in Paris and eat a whole plate of raw beef. We don't know all of the reasons for the raw animal foods, but one of them has to do with B6. B6 is very fragile. It's easily destroyed by heat. And B6 deficiency is linked to all of these diseases. And so this is a very important reason to include some raw animal foods in the diet. It could be raw milk, or it could be raw meat, or raw fish, oysters. My husband is not a dairy food person. He doesn't like milk. He eats 2 or 3 dozen raw oysters every week. I can't stand raw oysters. They make me sick. but I drink the raw milk. So there's many ways of getting your raw animal foods. And one of the key conditions associated with B6 deficiency is alcoholism. If this is a problem in your family, you want to make sure you're getting lots of raw animal foods. Raw cheese is a perfect food. If it's truly pasture-fed, from grass-fed animals and truly raw, it will have everything you need in it. A, D, and K, all the minerals, all the vitamins, including vitamin C. And it's a storage food. It travels. It's very, very dense. You don't have to even eat a lot of it. Okay, we'll stop here. And it's noon, time for a good lunch. And we're coming back at 1:30. So you have plenty of time to have lunch and visit the exhibits. If you have some burning questions and you want to come forward, I'm happy to answer them. Thank you. Thank you.